Hi, I'm Rick Lobdell. Welcome to another episode of Concrete Mystique, the podcast. This show is brought to you by Epoxy Depot. Go to epoxydepotusa.com and check out all their great products. Moment of silence for this small chronic break.
Warren G. Right?
No.
That was Dr. J.
Nice. I'll give you a second there.
It was the
Fuck
same
Warren
time
G.
frame. Same time frame. Same clip.
I know,
Same
but
clip.
one is great and the other one is meh.
True. But Warren G's an awesome producer. Nobody knows that.
I don't care.
He produced many major hits.
It's at least the only. Hold on. Hold on. I want to talk about this, but hold on.
I don't know if I was fetish there.
All right, this is all confusing, so I'm just going to start after we're recording. Welcome to Concrete Mystique, the podcast. I'm here with Andrew and Brian, the captains of the current season of Epoxy Floor Wars. This is why we have this all in the background. We are out here in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, hanging out. These guys are throwing down some mega floors, and I have the opportunity to chat with them, and we'll see where this goes. So, as we were starting this conversation, I can't resist the fact of, what would you prefer, Warren G or Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre, for sure.
Dr. Dre, for sure. I can't even believe you even bring up Warren G. I'm sure he's a great producer. My biggest issue is sometimes, and this is going to sound crazy, but sometimes I have the issue remembering the difference between Warren G and R. Kelly.
Oh. One's pissed on and one's pissed off.
So, it's just one of those things. It's like, hey, music is music to an extent, but Dre is the best, man. I mean,
I love all
Dre and Cube. Like, I love the movie about NWA. It was
With Ice
awesome.
Cube's son, that was dope.
It was awesome.
Dope.
100%. I think that story is fantastic.
Definitely
I think it needed
Dre.
to be said. One of my favorite moments is when they have the bag of guns and they're like, "We'll take care of this," and the manager's like, "No, no, you can't do that. That's not how this works." And they're like, "Why? I mean, we got the guns. Like, who cares?
Let's do our thing.
Let's do our thing." Gangster.
Straight out of Compton, baby.
Straight out of Compton.
You've been dropping some good.
We're gonna call this episode Straight Outta
some Dre
Compton.
references the past couple days.
Yeah.
You've been making some good music references.
Oh yeah.
He's all about it.
Oh yeah.
Mine just went out again. What is going on? Mine is fading in and out. We have a little bit of a microphone connection issue because I got a new mic, and it's the cord. The cord.
These are nice mics. I like them.
Well, that's why I was saying
They
you
have
don't
one
have to
here.
be that close. Like I want to be because one, mine's bothering me, and two, I'm used to it. But he knows from
better?
last year too. Like I will take care of everything. I will adjust your audio. It's no big deal at all.
Definitely.
All that matters is what you can hear and what did happen to our music. Speaking of,
I like your
It
setup.
happened when we adjusted my mic, so. You know what I mean?
Keep talking for a second.
Does that sound better?
Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. It's not you.
It's the music gone, but.
The music
we
is
got the
gone.
mic
What did I
back.
do?
It's somewhere right here.
It's playing. Why can't I hear it?
Hey, fuck the music.
I agree. I could care less either way. It's just fun to have. I mean, again, they don't even know we're playing it. There it goes.
We're fun to have.
You
We
guys
are.
are fun.
Brian's
There's the
been
music back.
Brian, you've been a really cool guy throughout this whole process, man. I appreciate
Well,
it.
last year didn't go so well, and there were some comments about me being the Gordon Ramsay of concrete. Did you get that one?
No.
I got dubbed Gordon Ramsay of concrete.
Why would you get dubbed the Gordon Ramsay of concrete? Does he never won anything?
Well, I think everyone that's. But I think everyone that's involved in the event, everyone, they either run their own show or they're used to barking orders and laying down the law. So I think for you to get through to some of these people, and even myself, I've had some challenges the past couple days. Everyone's got their own view and spin on things where it's like, hey, those are great ideas, but
Can we?
let the captain lead and.
Let's speak about the history of Floor Wars for one split second.
Go ahead.
Floor Wars was originally written on a cocktail napkin.
Correct.
I don't know if you guys know this.
Yeah, actually, we use this last year we did the podcast. I did the podcast with Steven, and they used some of that for the pilot because of some of this. But go ahead.
Yes. So originally, me and Isaiah, I got the phone call from Isaiah to essentially start something magnificent, and in 2.5 years of progress, me and him spoke about it last night. The amount of forward movement that we're getting out of this is just it's humbling, mind blowing. I never thought it'd be. It really started growing last year after the end of Floor Wars, but so me and Isaiah teamed up, joined sides. We had a dream. We both had the same dream. And it's rather than be competitors, we're stronger together. So we joined forces. We had a dream. We spoke about it for 1.5 years, and it's unfolding right in front of our eyes, and it's surreal.
Well, not only that, but it's also the point that, literally last year at this time, this very moment, you and I had never met.
Yeah.
Whether you knew my name, whether I knew your name, doesn't matter.
We met briefly at World of Concrete, but you didn't know who I was.
It happens to me all the time. It's one of the things about my show. That's why I do this, because I forget. I meet so many people. Yeah.
You guys were in the limelight, and I was yet to be acknowledged, which it's part of the process.
Correct.
But the moment, that's what brought me here, and that's the thing about Floor Wars. The reason we designed Floor Wars, or had this idea, is to get the installers the exposure that they deserve. So now you're picking up bigger jobs. They're questioning you on your ability to take on the project, and ultimately you can show them a video and be like, not only can I do the project, I can do it in a timed event.
Right.
Correct.
Against true savages.
Take that.
You know what I mean? So it's this.
It's that, Mike?
Yep. I can hear it. So
No, I hear it. One of them is going in and out. I couldn't tell which one is that one. Let me try something real quick.
What we had, me and Isaiah joined forces, and he was wrapping up a tour when we were introducing, bringing Epoxy Depot in, doing Wicked Colors, all the product line. So we did a training up here in PA. Steven, Isaiah, and I, excuse me, went to dinner, had a couple beers. After a long, treacherous day, we did, I don't know how many projects of metallics. We did a metallic training, and it went down to how crazy can we get. And Isaiah's like, can you get me a ladle? I'll never forget this, but it was genius. And he wraps it with saran wrap and pours epoxy in a ladle, white epoxy, and gets it going. So the end of the project, it looked like you disassembled a body on a table, and he had a really big eye and was sliding down to the floor.
What?
Yeah, I'll show you the picture. It's dope. It was blood and guts and gore and an eyeball. So
like an eyeball with like some
Isaiah,
veins
Isaiah's. I can do realisms. Isaiah is truly talented as far as creativity. Hats off to him. The guy sees shit. And we all, as artists, we all see shit different. He sees shit different than us. Like, the guy's a genius. So, yeah, they found a ladle, like you would do, like, spaghetti sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
We accelerated epoxy over saran wrap, made the eyeball shape, and he made the eyeball, and we, the rest, it looked like blood and guts and the eyeball sliding down the table. Straight up.
You say, though, like when you guys decided to join forces and do it together, were you guys competition being in 2 different regions?
No, we have been.
Or is it because he travels and his brand is worldwide?
Well, to that same point, that's one of the things for me is if you're in Nashville, then you're competition. If you're anywhere outside of Tennessee, I don't care. And I'll do whatever I can to help you.
So I always thought he was Florida-based. So
yeah, that's why I was saying that. They're far enough away that it's like, oh, hell no. Like, whatever you want to do, let's do it together.
Right.
I'm completely cool with that. Just stay out of my town.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no. What it is that it's cutting out when because there's three mics.
Gotcha.
When someone else is talking, it's cutting. I don't know if it's cutting to the first person, but I think that's all it is.
Because I agree with like your guys' overall game plan and like the team up and everything like that. I mean, I could probably name a couple individuals that I wish were on the same page to where, hey, a lot of great minds. It's hard to find great minds that think alike that can work together.
Well, another thing that I just had this podcast last week with one of my best friends in Nashville that's worked with me, which is rare because, like I just said, like I'm hardcore. I was for years, and I had to loosen up because of this friend of mine for the same point. And that's one of the things we talked about. And the difference is that if the two of you were doing a project together, okay, you both have been business owners. Yeah. But you're both business owners. So you know what it takes to be in control and run that job or work with someone else too. Whereas your employees don't understand that. No. So the great thing was when we did projects together, it wasn't like, oh, this is your project, I'm the employee and I'm going to slack off and not really care. It is, I know just as much how important it is for me to get this right, just like it is for you, because I want to help you just as much as you want to help me. And it's a completely different mentality than being an employee and going, I don't care. I'm just doing what I need to make my money. It's a huge difference. And I never thought about it till we were talking about that last week, that there is that point of like, we care too much about what we do. It's not just because it's my company. I care about any project I do that my name is on it, whether it's yours, or mine. 100%. It does not matter.
Especially the caliber of the work and the scope of work that's being requested. I think if you find a couple individuals that can kind of be on the same wavelength, that's hard to find. Even though you have multiple employees, those employees aren't at that level.
Don't forget to speak up.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I got not to cut you off or anything, but I want to add on to that. So,
we're going to cut off Andrew as much as possible.
Cut me off.
But I see a lot of squirrels, so don't divert me too much, you know what I mean? But what I was trying to say is like, I got back into, like I told you, I've been doing decorative concrete since I was 14 years old.
Right.
Summers, my buddy's older brother did it. We did spray decks, but we did designs. We set ourselves apart from spray deck. Spray deck. We made spray decks fun. This is 30 years ago.
There's no such thing as fun with spray deck.
No, especially I was the sprayer.
Yeah.
You do condos and
That's like one of the first times my team did flake, and they freaking loved it, and I'm like, this is boring.
Right.
That's why I don't do it. But they loved it because it was easy. It was common sense to them.
In 1994, it was innovative. I live on a tiny island, like I told you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
I'm closer to Cuba than Walmart.
That all makes sense. That makes sense now.
Cuba than Walmart.
It's hard to do. It's hard, But that being said, what I was trying to say is that the reason we did all this is
just pop my podcast cherry here. First podcast.
That pun did not go well.
That makes your vagina taste better. I saw that on Playboy.
What's Playboy?
It's like a clean version of Hustler.
All right, so before we get too far into this, we need to find out more about Andrew. Yeah. We know a lot about Brian now from last year. We've talked before. Let's introduce Andrew to the group. And get to know him a little bit. So first of all, are you born and raised in Chicago area?
I am. More of the suburbs though.
Well, of course.
Yep.
That's why I said area.
What's that?
Soda or pop?
Pop.
Oh.
Pop.
Club soda?
I'm from Ohio.
I'm like the John Daly of the coating industry.
Hey, we're both Midwesterners.
I'll take down a case of cola a day.
Wait, we should have brought Tyler. I just want to hear her say, "Don't you know?"
Tyler will probably say soda for sure.
Well, all right, so what part of Chicago when you say the suburb? Like southeast?
Western suburbs. I would
Western.
Like DuPage County, Wheaton, Glen Ellen area.
No, not helping.
You got some land? I like to hunt.
I do have a little bit of land.
I like to hunt.
We have four large
in Chicago.
Outside of Chicago, they got big deer there.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
Massive deer. I like free.
Come to Tennessee. I got plenty.
I go to Tennessee.
Where we live now, it's like country suburbs, so it's like we get wildlife through the property.
So where's so you work for Epoxy Depot, Chicago, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Where is that location relative to you?
That's in Joliet. From the city, I would say it's a good 45 minutes southwest of Chicago.
So it's just straight south almost for you.
I live probably about 5-10 minutes.
Really,
from
you're
the
that
shop.
close to the. That's awesome.
Definitely.
That's interesting.
So we actually recently became Epoxy Depot in March. So we've been distributing for a while, and once I found the really good opportunity, I was like, this is a great chance.
So I'm going to give you a little bit something about Chicago that he doesn't know either.
I've only been in one. Great hot dogs, by the way.
I will say,
Portillo's.
I'm not kidding. I believe Chicago is the greatest city in America.
I didn't get to see much of it. I'd like to see more. You know?
I have gone to Lollapalooza 3 times.
Maybe we do a collaboration.
Yeah, Chicago's awesome because
I'll make that a goal.
I don't know if you know this, but it's like 13 million people. It's a big ass city. It's not tiny.
It sounds like I'm the biggest introverted extrovert you'll probably meet. I don't like a lot of people. You know what I mean?
I don't like a lot of people either, but I move with the flow.
Okay, so let's clarify that little statement. It's one thing to not like people. It's another thing. How do I say this? Like, I like talking to everybody, but that doesn't mean I like everybody.
My wife will vouch.
I think that's a good argument, like a good statement.
You know, like that. There's a different way to look at it. That's not introvert extrovert.
You're not saying I don't like people. You're just saying you don't automatically allow people within where you're comfortable.
It takes a lot to get into my comfort zone.
Definitely.
And once you're in my circle, I'll do anything for you. But to get to my circle is complicated. And if you get kicked out of the circle, you're never getting back in.
Circle of trust.
Yes.
I like that you said that, Rick. I like that you said that. Because you're very interesting to me. You are.
I appreciate that. In fact, side note to just the audience does not want to know this story, but you're going to love this. Okay, I'm not kidding whatsoever. This is a true story. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, again, I have a master's in painting. You already know that. I don't know if you knew that. I have a master's in painting, so I study painting, I study history, all this, like so much history on art. It's ridiculous.
Right,
okay.
Right.
Cleveland Museum of Art has a painting, or well, maybe it's like an ink drawing from BC, like from over 2,000 years ago at least, if not longer, but are roughly around that, from China, Japan, I think one of the two. It's like in that Middle East area, okay? And all these people are standing there backwards, smiling at the picture with their hand out. Every one of them in the picture. And you're like, what the hell? And so you read the little caption, and that was a symbol for masturbation back then, and that was their way of like exposing it and showing it without getting in trouble for it.
Hidden message.
That literally used to be a symbol for that, for the record, instead of a game that we play today, as funny as that is. So
somebody did that with the middle finger. You know what I mean?
Right, same kind of concept, right?
His was just more trendy.
He was just pissed off one day. Just,
he was so mad. He was like, you know what? This is how mad I am.
Yeah.
Or if you're in England, it's...
Oh, it's 2 times. You're double fucked.
Yeah, this is... So...
See, at my house, I get that a lot. I got a little 4-year-old son. He loves it. Once you learn that one, hey, you see that one all the time.
So... I went to Kansas City this year for ASCC, and every year I take them on a tour, which Chicago is a great art museum. I would love to take you there and show you some crazy shit.
Definitely.
Anyway, so I'm in Kansas, and we go into the Asian art exhibit area, and we see this scroll with these 2 guys with their hands down there. Well, they had like what's the term? The robe. It's not a robe, but a gi. Like they're kind of gi. And they had the top of the gi down, and they had their hands down in their gi, and they're both smiling.
Like, I thought you were doing this.
Like, I don't know what they were doing, but it was hilarious because they're both standing there together going...
Right.
Standing, just smiling away.
What is a gi?
You know, like the martial arts
outfit? Yeah, jiu-jitsu. Like they wear the... The robe?
Yeah.
That's called a gi.
Gotcha.
We're here to educate you today.
Thank you.
Could have just been a robe. We don't know.
All right, so
You learned
can we
something. Yeah, of
Are you-
course. I ain't trying. I was just asking questions.
No, that's what I'm doing too. You can ask him. We're only allowed
Ask
to ask
away.
Andrew questions for a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Would you like to ask him that question?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, first of all, I just want to. I want to say something before I want to do a statement.
Uh-oh.
You know, because
He likes to do statements.
I do.
He also likes to do
I
drawings.
want to say, you know, thank you, because I talk so much shit on. I'm not like I said, I'm an introvert, but I did talk shit like who wants that smoke for months and months and months, and who would go against me on Floor Wars, and you know what I mean.
He got no action.
Nothing. Nothing. You know what I mean? If you're looking.
He probably knows now I'm not that guy.
If you guys think you can do it, bring it. You know, you might have to face this guy, and he's one motherfucker. I'll tell you
No, I
that.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
And just for the audience to know, Andrew might be winning right now. With that said,
No. I honestly, I don't even look at it that way. I think Brian's been faced with a lot of challenges, and any time that we've had to have our
yeah, but those challenges were his own fault. So that's okay. That's part of the challenge because Isaiah was too. You guys had issues with your design too. We all had. Everyone's going to have an issue. There's a lot going on in a short amount of time.
But even though
you say that because that's his. That's not the team's fault.
Yeah, but
he took two lifelines to get it right and screwed it up during all of that.
I was wondering what was going on over there.
Right? I mean, we have to acknowledge that. We don't have to. I mean, I could.
But I'll speak outside of that though. As far as things that he's had to overcome and things that he faced, I think Brian and myself, you know, we're in this position where we're at because we're not bosses, we're leaders, and I think that when we had a lead, we led by example.
Okay, so that's a good point.
But once again, you're gonna find this on the job. This is great. You know what I mean?
Just to sit here and say that none of us have ever messed up a design on a job is impossible. That's impossible.
100%. My last interview.
I'm not, even for me, like, I hate admitting that I've ever made a mistake at all in my entire career.
You know what?
At all.
You know.
But I will say that one too.
I would say this, and I know we're figuring you out, but I heard a little birdie when I walked by.
Okay.
And I heard that you had to do a 16-point star and you did a 12-point star, or vice versa.
It's the opposite, yes. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be a 12-point. I did a 16. You were exactly right. But you
It-
know why?
it happens.
Because no one gave me any guidelines. I
Again.
didn't know.
Again.
No one ever told me.
Yeah.
I did have an image, but no one ever
The
told
star
me I
thing
had to
threw
be
me
exact.
off. I won't lie. I mean, I could
Well,
tape out
No,
squares
I
and
completely agree. I completely
that
agree.
design. I mean, I was like,
And to his point too, my design I did for your guys' challenges threw him off because he thought that was part of the design. I didn't even know when I did that was part of the design. I never knew that. Yeah, that's where it comes from. It's my logo. That's what you
I've
guys
seen
learned.
it a couple places.
It
That's
got-
why I was
yeah.
saying. I was like,
It got in my head somehow,
And it did, and I agree
Yeah.
with you. I thought the same thing because
It's
when
two
you did it, I thought
points.
you were on top of it until I realized. Emil told me it, and it took me a good 10 minutes to sit there going, "No, it's right. No, it's right. No, it's." I was right there with you, man.
so.
I
So
didn't
can I
think
add to
that
something with the whole design? I feel though that maybe a couple team players on your side, you may or may not have had more encounters outside of the event to where you might be able to discuss, and I could be wrong, but I could have, like Brett or Nick, have you guys been on jobs together?
You have probably the most diversified team, hands down, even more so than last year. Your team has every scope. You know what I mean?
And I'm trying to identify
Dustin-
those scopes to see
Dustin
who's
does.
strongest.
That is a good point, actually, and especially that has nothing to do with the fact that both of you have had to change teammates in the last week, let alone today. You know, you had to change teammates twice in the last 48 hours. Who's the third one?
3 times, yeah.
Derek McLeod.
No, that was on his team.
No.
I thought that was your team too?
My original plan.
Oh my God, so all three of them were your team the entire time.
Yeah.
And you've had the same team the entire time.
I have.
I thought one of them was your team in the beginning.
No.
Wow.
That's what I was saying. Like, he's had to deal with a lot of things.
Yeah, no, I
overcome.
completely
Yeah.
agree. I completely agree.
I think it was the day before we were supposed to fly here. Derek McLiberty broke his wrist.
Something like that, right?
Broke right here. He sent me a picture. It was like a question mark. I didn't say much. I haven't really answered my phone in days. I know I got some contractors pissed, but Derek McLiberty broke his wrist. Chad Tandy missed his flight by 7 minutes and had it out with TSA and blew up. Got pissed off. Went home, missed, and didn't recover. We filled that spot miraculously. That being said, I don't know if you noticed. If you look back on the footage yesterday, I noticed Corey tearing up. I went to school for I know body language very well.
All right, so we're gonna get there for a second, but I wanna say something for that same reason.
Yeah.
And I think you'll agree with me on this. I am not in any way, shape, or form gonna badmouth Derek or Corey in any way. Chad, on the other hand, that's his own fucking problem because he should have showed up on time.
Right.
That's a bad thing on his part.
Or maybe even catch the next one.
But I agree with you. Like Corey, and we did the same thing as commentators this morning. We gave a big shout out to Corey, talked about him for a minute, and then talked about Brad stepping up to take it over, and talked about Brad too. But we wanted to, and I'll make this very clear on this podcast for when it does come out, that I totally agree that, sorry Corey, I'm sorry you're going through all of that. It sucks. It's bad timing. I don't know the entire story. I'm not gonna elaborate on it. But at the same time, I do want to make sure that he understands that we all stand behind you, and we're sorry that you had to leave. That really sucked because it was personal. It was family based, as far as I know. It wasn't because I just don't want to be here at all. I never saw that in him.
No, he seemed super stoked. He was excited.
Very positive the entire time, and I really was upset that not of all the people, but of any of you, really.
Wow.
But the story behind what I found out, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that just sucks.
All I did was walk by him and I knew something was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, you okay? You can look back on yesterday. He back to back, like he had his turn. I walked by him and was like, you okay, dude? And he turned around and his eyes were just soaking wet. Not running down his tail, like,
yeah.
And he's like, what's going on with Florida right now? Everybody knows I'm from South Florida. He's like, I'm not by any means trying to show emotion. I know what's happening. You know what I mean? And he's like, you got a hurricane. I'm like, you got a hurricane in your heart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's the same. I got goosebumps saying that. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what a lot of viewers don't see either, or if they're just tuning in, like
100%.
Two different type of styles, and I've learned over the past couple of days. Brian's,
he showed
you're
up.
a good dude, Brian. I appreciate everything.
Yes, both of you guys are, man. I mean, I've had a great time watching both of you.
Thank you.
I mean, our conversation
I'm
last
glad
week
we
caught me
did
off
this.
guard to the same point. I knew right away we were going to have fun together this week.
Right, definitely.
And sitting here right now and all that kind of stuff. I was super excited about bringing you onto the podcast after that random. So, just for the record, for the backtrack, so the people know, Andrew called in to Surf Code asking general technical questions, and I take probably.
She's like, let me transfer you to tech support.
Close to 90% of the calls anyway.
Yeah.
But coincidentally, you got me.
Right.
So we're having this casual conversation. I'm helping him out. Everything's great. And then I was like, well, where are you at? He was like, I'm at Epoxy Depot in Chicago. And I was like, oh, cool. Are you going to go to the show, or are you stuck doing working the office? And he was like, well, really, I'm one of the captains. I'm like, what? Is this Andrew?
I was like, who is this?
And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. Well, I'm the commentator, and you're getting to know me pretty well, pretty quickly.
And because I watched the last season, I was like, oh, yeah, I know who you are.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Now, like, I'm not saying this in a bad way. Don't take it the wrong way. Say you were just coming into this, and you signed up as a captain. The notoriety that you just received. You just went through the toughest fucking challenge of decorative concrete that I know of.
It's been intense. It's been definitely intense for sure.
Down.
To that same point, and for any of our listeners out there, we're going to call you out right now. because a lot of you didn't fucking show up, didn't sign up,
Pussy.
weren't willing to do it, weren't willing to take this man on. I don't want to hear it over the next year, and you better be prepared for next year.
Brian, I look up to Brian. I've seen his work. It's been outstanding. I know he rolls around.
I don't know about looking up to him. Let's
He's well respected in the industry. You know.
But don't get down on me either.
I feel I came in as an
my
underdog.
dad's 6'5" and my mom's 4'11". I ended up here. Okay.
Happy medium.
That's just like they gave me a medium fucking shirt. You know?
Hey, I'm gonna take the rest of that little cup down.
Go ahead. My cup is yours.
Cheers, sir. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Cheers to both of you guys.
Cheers,
I really
guys.
enjoyed watching you this last couple
It's been
a great,
great
couple days getting to know you, sir.
And he came at a humble approach to me and was like, I think you said, I don't know, this isn't verbatim, but you said, I have no business running against you. I'm like, yes, you do. I don't know. I remember how the conversation went. I could look back in the text, and I'm like, yes, you do. And I was like, if you don't, I'm pretty sure I'll be willing to help you. You know what I mean?
He said that every morning so far. You know, hey, if you need something, I'm here to help.
I agree with you. I totally disagree.
Right.
Because anybody, I don't care who you are. If this is the same thing, I watch a ton of UFC, okay? And I don't care how much they talk shit before the fight. Once they both step into the ring, they both, they 100% respect each other. If you're willing to step into the ring, you deserve to be there. End of conversation.
We're in the trenches.
Yes, 100%.
We're in the trenches on opposing teams fighting the same fucking battle.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
100%. And I look at it dead. You have no fucking clue what it's like. This is beyond any job site. This is beyond any. I have a famous floor, and it's not because it was great. I had 87 doves stuck into my metallic floor. 87.
Not one, not two.
We only had 2 rats.
87.
Yeah, you had 2 rats.
I'm talking, and they were flailed. There was feathers everywhere.
You have a few reasons to be famous. Sharks.
I got a black cloud.
I might agree with you on that one, man.
But you always overcome.
Freaking crazy.
I've been dealt a shitty hand of cards my entire life, and I'm not trying to steal his thunder.
No, hey man.
No, because it's a testament to this whole picture. Because you got to work your ass off to be here. This is no lazy man's world in any way, shape, or form.
Definitely.
I would not be commentating if I was a lazy ass when I began in this industry either. To the same point,
it's a nonstop.
And it wraps I can't wrap my head around the amount of. I say this all the time. The amount of information that is in this head right here that I know about this industry. You learned it when you called me last week, and we had a hell of a talk.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there talking about it, and Matt's asking me questions. I cannot get over how much knowledge I have, good or bad, however you want to look at it. I just cannot get over it still to this day, to be honest with you.
What I can't get over is that, seasoned veterans. If you're more than 5 years, we'll call you a seasoned veteran. You've dealt almost every scenario, ish. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So that being said, it's just to do this in a real time setting is you come across these problems, but to do it in a competition and they create problems and I'm not saying this in a bad way and to make it's for the good of Floor Wars, but I've been dealt a shittier hand of cards. I think this is just my opinion because Steven has had 1 year to study me. You know what I'm saying? He knows my flaws. He knows my weaknesses. He knows my strong points. 100%.
And he sure loves to capitalize on it.
Oh, 100%. He was asking for drama when I don't need any more drama. I have no. He's like, creative
Well, and the problem is, the great thing about this podcast
I could attest to that.
This podcast is coming out in the next week or two, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we can talk about anything right now. One thing I could not talk about the entire show was the hurricane. Yes, we are live on YouTube, but when this comes to being filmed and put together, we can't be talking about a hurricane a year later.
Right.
So I couldn't bring up what was really going on in everybody's minds at that moment, with half the people coming from Florida, or there was people that never made it up here. They probably would have been watching the show that was here last year and everything too. Florida messed up everything. It wasn't just you, and that wasn't a big deal too. But there's a lot to be said about we all have our own personal lives, no matter how you look at it. Wow. And we stepped up to be here knowing that our personal lives still have to go on. And like, I talked to my wife about what he was going through.
Yeah.
And she was like, I would have made you go too. I wouldn't have made you sit back because of the hurricane. What the hell were you going to do when it finally hit? You had nothing you could have done, and they were good.
I would love you guys to read the note from my wife that was left in my bag, and I didn't see it.
You told me about this, but yes.
So, like,
You can paraphrase it. What did it say? Or is it too personal?
It's a little personal. I'll let you read it. Basically, along the lines, it said, my wife's a savage. I'll speak of my wife first. Give me 30 seconds. My wife's the type of girl.
Shout out to Brian's wife.
Katie, I love you, baby. My wife's a savage. This dude pulled a gun on me and planned to shoot me on a Halloween night. There was cops behind me, probably 30 feet away, pulling over somebody in a DUI. This is in a big, huge block party, and the dude pulled a gun on me and was gonna shoot me in the freaking face. My wife, before he got to this, that dude was on the floor. She choke slammed this dude on his ass.
Oh shit.
This is one of my best friends I grew up with, and he was mad because he wasn't a groomsman at my wedding. He was gonna shoot me. He had a 38 special.
There's some fucked up friends, if that's what it means.
Shit. Steven told me a long time ago that you look at your friends, you look at your future. He's like, if you want to hang around if you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. And that, I got goosebumps again. That really hit home. I've been dealt a shitty hand of cards, but I decided maybe it's me. Maybe I got some stagnant shit around me. Let's change my friends. Let's change my future. I'll keep my brothers and my brothers. You are now my brother.
I appreciate that.
You earn so much respect from me. You have no idea.
I'm still working on that.
I appreciate that,
Brian. We're gonna go back to Andrew. This is probably gonna be your longest podcast.
Hey, I will sit here and talk as long as you guys want to. We have a party going on in the background.
I think I threw a curveball at you this morning.
This is my kind of party, man.
What do you mean?
I think I threw a curveball at you and Ben this morning. I was kind of in my own little situation when we first started, before we started the day, and I kind of hid the fact I had some health things going on, and
I'm going to bring that up, but yeah,
I'm comfortable talking about it.
I want to talk personally with you separately, because we're going through something similar, and I want to know why you're to where you're at compared to me, and what I got away with for that reason, because and that's up to you if you want to bring.
I can talk about that. Everyone knows I'm pretty cool and content about it. I let Brian know about it. And we had a good little chuckle and laugh about it. I mean, when this
the way you came about it was a little. I was like, you know what? You're like, hey, I was
like, full disclosure. This is what's going on. So when you meet me, there might be some weird shit going on.
It never changed.
So it's like,
to knock down Brian and say, oh, by the way, you're also fighting against somebody who is going through a medical condition on top of that, and still might be kicking your ass right now.
No. I don't look at it like that.
Hey,
dude, I gotta have fun with this.
No, I know.
Last year,
but it's like, it's something like that. Most people might either take a break or whatever.
So tell your story. Come on.
I was on a floor two years ago and I didn't feel well, and my intestines ruptured randomly.
I can't believe that happened.
It was just random.
How big is the floor?
Wait, hold on.
3,000 feet. I was on a small strip mall commercial job.
It's go time.
Yeah, actually we were doing the final top coat, dropping some aliphatic urethane, and I kept on saying, "Hey, man, I don't feel good. If I go down, let me cure with the floor."
All right, so can I give a little bit of background to this?
Yeah, definitely.
Am I
for
allowed
sure.
to talk about it fully?
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you. I've never talked about this. I've never talked about this in public either.
Okay.
I've also kept this to myself. Mine's only since August.
Okay.
But I still don't bring this up. So if you're going to bring it up, I'm going to bring it up.
I'm comfortable talking about it.
So I went to a pool tournament in Vegas. It was my second year in a row making it to Vegas. That's really fucking hard to do. I have friends of mine that have been playing in leagues for 14 years and have never been to Vegas, and I did it 2 years in a row. Not gloating because I'm a badass. It's captain, it's team, it's everything about what we're doing right now and what you guys are going through right now. I'm the captain of my team. I led them last year. I went this year with a captain's team. Long story. So last year even I had some medical conditions happen to me that were fucked up and didn't make any sense either. I was really confused about it. But this year I go through the tournament and I go to see Dead and Company. I don't know if this is coincidental or not. I go to see Dead and Company Friday night, and Saturday night we start our tournament. We were supposed to start Friday, I think it was Friday night, and for some reason we luckily got a bye to Saturday, so it all worked out. I got to go to see the concert without any animosity, any issue.
Right.
Okay. Talking a long story to make this point. Go to the concert, have a great time. 24 hours later that night, the next night, Saturday night, I'm in the middle of my tournament. I played 3 times on Saturday. Between the tournaments, I kept going back to my hotel, grab a snack, and I kept eating like pizza and shit like that. Okay, I get done with pizza before the third match, and I go back to my game, and all of a sudden I feel this weird, uncomfortable shit in my intestine, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's on the left side. It's on the on the right side. I know it's my appendix.
Right.
Left side, I'm thinking kidney, but it's in the front. That's not the kidney. I'm like, fuck. What the hell did I do? Something is wrong.
Yeah. That's liver.
Right. There's something right away. Right away. That's not normal. It's got to be my intestines.
Yep.
And so even one of the girls that was with me was like, have you ever had diverticulitis before? And I'm like, fuck no. Why the hell would I have that? And sure enough, that's exactly what it fucking was. Now I was pissed.
It was like inflammation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I finished that match Saturday night. Sunday morning, I slept fine Saturday night. Sunday morning, I went to my match, and we got our asses fucking handed to us. It wasn't because of that. I played bad. I played okay, but we just could not win.
You weren't on your A game.
I think I was okay. I'm not going to blame it on that at all.
It's painful.
No, I disagree. I don't think it was that. Just you lose, you lose. It is. Just like everything else we do. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and it just wasn't our day. And so then I was done. We're out of the tournament. We placed 65th out of 380 teams. I'm not going to say that was bad. I'm not complaining. Very happy with our work, and I played well. I can't complain about that. I played well. Anyway.
Yeah.
The rest of that day goes downhill for me bad. It goes downhill, and I don't know why. I don't sleep that night. 3 o'clock in the morning, I was going to go to the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? This doesn't feel right at all. No fever, no other issues whatsoever.
Just pain.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that. I was like, how did you get to that point is why I'm confused. So,
just random.
3 o'clock in the morning, I almost went to the doctor. And I even looked it up on my phone, and it was a 1.5 mile walk. And it was a 24-hour emergency room. So 8 o'clock in the morning, I call the wife, and she's like, "Are you a fucking idiot? Go to the hospital now." And I'm like, "Why? I got one more day, and I can go home because Monday was the final. So you had to stay there till the end of it, just in case you made it to the finals."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "I'm 1 day away, and I'll be home, and I can go to the doctor." And she's like, "You're an idiot. Don't do that."
Right.
And so I went to the doctor, and of course they do 20,000 fucking tests. They put it on. I'm looking at him like, why the fuck are you drawing blood? Like, you should just feel my belly and go, you have a problem. Here's what to take. And they're like, no. They went through the whole thing, and they come back and they're like, you have diverticulitis. And I'm like, fuck. What the hell does that mean? Is this permanent?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, the first guy was like, no, it's not permanent. It's curable. And I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking IBS and all those kind of things that you can't cure.
Right.
Well, no, it is not. It is long term.
It is.
Because this diverticulosis is what you technically have, and diverticulitis is when you get an infection from this osis.
Right.
If you want to say it that way. And you're forever with the osis, The ISIS is when you have a problem and you have to go get medication and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like, okay, great.
So you had a flare up.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah.
So to the point, how the hell do you go from a flare up to?
Mine must have been such a bad flare up. I mean, it was like the first encounter. It was a bad.
So you
flare.
had nothing beforehand.
No, my daughter has braces, so a couple days before I cut all the corn off the cob, and my wife's Hispanic, so we had the elotes, the corn, the mayonnaise, and all the cheese and everything.
Never put.
No one ate it, again. So I was like, oh, there's a big bowl of it, and I ate the whole bowl. So I guess when I ate that bowl of corn, it went through there like a wrecking ball. It actually turned my intestines into a sprinkler. So I went to work for a day or two rocking, as it was like sprinkling throughout my body and poisoning, and I was like, man, I don't feel right. And by the time I finished that back roll on that urethane, I was like, man, I'm fucked up. And I went to the hospital, and they were like, you gotta have surgery. And I woke up with a bag. So I mean, now
why the bag? Like, why can't they fix it? Why
they had to cut out part of my intestine and
see,
part
that
of
was
my
another thing
colon.
too. I told my doctor when I came back,
it was infected.
I was like,
I was
if
septic.
I have to fucking go through this again, I want part of my intestine taken out. I want to go through this again.
Oh, it was intense.
Because the meds fucking suck.
Yeah, no, it was intense.
So they took part of it out, but do you have to live with this forever?
No, I'm actually about to have a reversal probably before the end of the year.
Why did you have to wait 18 months for the reversal?
Just for it to heal. I mean,
really?
They pretty much cut everything out. They welded it together.
Yeah, I mean, to your same point, I will say this is not a short-term, quick fix. You don't get better because of.
But it's like I couldn't stop with my installs. I couldn't stop with my distribution. I didn't take it to the media where I was like, hey, this happened to me. Blah blah blah.
You can't stop going to Epoxy Floor Wars to compete against this guy.
Well, I was saying up until that happened.
Are you feeling guilty at it all now?
No, I mean, I told him about it, and he said, hey man, bring it. But it's like, honestly, up until that point, I would say my businesses ran me.
Yeah.
And then once this happened, I'm not a quitter to where I wasn't like, oh, poor me.
No.
Now I actually had to start pointing the finger,
so let me ask you a
which I've never
now.
been a finger pointer.
Have you changed your diet?
I have not, only because I was told, for now you're good, but once you do that reversal, you better tighten up your shit.
High fiber. So here's the interesting thing, that the hospital was more positive about it than the pharmacy, first and foremost, and then my doctor person.
Yeah.
But they were literally like, look, you go high fiber until you have another flare up, and then you go low fiber, or don't eat at all and just go on a liquid diet. And I'm like,
it's an intense deal.
Can't fucking handle that. I cannot do that.
I cannot.
I don't eat the best to begin with. So
that's my point. I didn't either. Now I do.
I do not. Now I do.
Now here's one catch to
this guy. This guy's fit.
I hate to bring it up because
you're fit. This guy's rocking over here.
How old are you?
I just
38.
Started.
You're 38. I'm 50.
I'm 44.
I didn't ask you what your age was, but thank you for bringing it up.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. The reason why I was bringing it up is because I had this happen to me at 50. You had this happen to you at 38. I was not eating well at 38 at all. I was on top of the world. I could give two shits about what the hell I ate. And I'm the pickiest eater on the face of this earth. I can't believe it took this long for this to happen.
You're only picky at dessert? Is that what you said?
No.
Except for dessert.
I hate cheese. I hate nuts. I hate so much I hate sushi. I have texture issues. I could live in space on toothpaste with no problem whatsoever.
I'll eat anything.
As long as my stomach stops yelling at me, I'm happy.
Are you a chicken nugget kind of guy?
I could be. I've eaten nothing but chicken fingers and fries the whole time I've been here.
Same thing. Potato.
Yeah. But I have to fix it. I've had yogurt and fruit every single morning.
What I was getting at though is this morning I had an issue.
Yes, you did.
We pulled up right before we walked, and I opened the door and I was like, I need a fucking roll of duct tape now, and my shit broke.
And Brandon got it.
Yeah. I duct taped everything up, and then we hit the stage.
Yeah. Right.
So all day I was like, this fucking duct tape better hold.
Again, I'm not trying to change or interrupt the subject, but we had a death in the family, and my wife made me go get blood work. This is 5.
Wait, hold on. Your side of the family, obviously, then?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clarify when you said that.
Like a random heart attack, stroke, on the table, like whatever, with cancer.
No hereditary. That's not normal, or is it?
she's a married, but she's like, my wife told me, she's like, will you listen now? You know? I was like, yes, dude. I'll go get my blood work done.
Yeah.
Came back. He's like, you're healthy as an ox. He told me where I was deficient in. I was complaining about my shoulder. I was on the brink of having rotator cuff surgery. I couldn't touch my elbow, like it was sensitive to the touch. My rotator cuff was clicking, popping. I couldn't trowel concrete anymore. I haven't told nobody about this besides Isaiah. Isaiah's the only one.
Breaking news.
It's a breaking news, yeah. So I went to the doctor. Doctor pulled my blood. Said you're deficient of this and this and this and this. He told me, my doctor's known me pretty much most of my life, but he's like, if you get rotator cuff surgery right now, you are done. Like you use your shoulder, my right shoulder, more than you know. Trial on concrete, you're done.
For
it's
what? 18 months, 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah.
It's
the same point. It's a long.
I go bankrupt at that. You know what I mean?
And the older we get, the longer it takes.
So my doctor was like, well, let's try this. And I was deficient in testosterone. He's like, knowing you, I'm surprised you don't have 16 kids. Pulling your blood, I now know why. Like, seriously, I had a testosterone deficiency, so he put me on a strict diet, and he's like, I'm gonna give you a prescription. You don't go to a pharmacy to fill this prescription. He's like, you're getting a gym membership. You know, like last year when I competed, I just had reconstructive surgery on my jawbone. I was very skinny last year. You know, I lost a lot of weight.
This is why you're wearing the shirt and showing off that bod?
No,
He's on that tee.
They gave me a medium because of last year, because I had lost so much weight that I can't fit into my shirt. It's like, I'm like, and you know, it could be 50 degrees outside out of my shirt, probably lower than now, but I'm dying. I'm sweating so bad because I was like, plus I was covered in concrete after the car. But, so I must say
that was intense, by the way. The car's intense.
Thank you. But I must say that it has changed my life, seriously, and no bullshit. And everybody's like, oh, it's going to change your life. I saw through your bullshit. Like, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? I go to the gym every morning. Like, you have to train yourself to eat. I didn't know this. So, you know, he's like, you put me on a 250 gram a day protein diet.
It's a lot.
Because he wants me to rebuild my shoulder. I used to play football. I was going to college football, and it was an incident I don't want to talk about. I didn't make it. I didn't graduate school. I had to get my GED. I could have went to like 7 colleges, all in the SEC, for playing football. I was force-fed
At
football.
your height?
At my height.
I might call bullshit on that one.
Call
I'm kidding.
bullshit.
I'm totally kidding.
Call bullshit.
Running back?
Halfback free. I was much larger. Remember, I had bone graft.
You might have been larger width-wise, but not height-wise.
I couldn't eat solid food for 3.5 months. You know what that does to a body?
Mentally that would blow my mind, because I'm already bad enough about food. I hate that.
My teeth still wiggle. I had bone graft, top and bottom, all the way around. I had half of my jaw bone graft. I was, in the picture was, when I met Isaiah, I had so much stitches in my mouth, I couldn't talk. And it still to this day, I developed a lisp because of the stitches would touch my tongue when I would talk, and it would be like, you know, like a used car set.
That explains so much about last year.
Right? So, my doctor put me on a strict diet, 250 grams of protein a day, which is actually, it seems, if you don't cheat and don't do a protein shake, it's actually impossible.
Right.
I'm a foodie. I love food. I would walk around with like food like here. You know what I mean? Rice, chicken, just all the right shit that he's telling me to eat. Eggs. Like I can't eat no more. And like,
you must have been shitting like crazy.
Oh,
you had a little too much extra protein than the average person, man.
I will blow out the house. Like, everybody leaves like, oh shit. For real, I swear.
He's on that protein.
No, but it has saved my, it has returned my life around and gave me a second chance, it feels like.
Definitely.
I don't hurt, but right now I'm sore as shit, but this is the most intense shit you've ever been through. But I feel amazing. I feel like I'm 20 again, and I recommend it to any fucking dude. He put me on this shit. He's got it on for first responders, cops, firemen.
Yeah.
Because he put me on that diet. He's like, to me, he's like, your body in the concrete world, you go through these tasks that, you know, these first responders go through. But I'm gonna put you on this shit. It's changed my life. I do the gym twice a day. 5 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night. Every day.
Okay, so
It takes some discipline.
it does.
It does. 100%.
I condemn that.
I'm gonna bring something up to your same point. I completely agree with you, and this is something that
I recommend it.
This is another point to our issue. This is my next step. So, you know, I was a decorative concrete guy for 17 years before I finally started to retire. I've been in the industry for 20 years now, but I had to finally hit a wall and I had to stop.
Yeah.
Physically, I could do whatever the hell I wanted. I could eat whatever I wanted. I was working my ass off, and I was on a diet all the time. Like, I was very careful about what I ate during the day, and then I would make up for it in the evening. But physically, other than my back or my lower back, I was feeling pretty good for a long time. Well, now that I've had 2-3 years of not doing any floors, barely at all, I'm finding out that I lost a little bit of weight at first, or, you know, my weight's adjusted a little bit and things like that, but I've got to do something, and I haven't committed to getting into the gym yet. I'm walking average about 5 miles a day, but that's just walking. So cardio-wise, yeah, I'm doing fine, but I've already started to notice that my shoulders are bothering the shit out of me. If I don't sit right, if I'm sitting the wrong way, I can feel the pain right there. Now, backtrack, I wrestled for 10 years. One of my biggest issues, to your original point, was I was terrible about controlling my neck and my shoulders. And if you don't build muscle between your neck and your shoulders, you're fucked. And there was a point where, I don't know if we talked about it last year, where if I want to, I can make my shoulder pop out.
I can too.
100%.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny at first, but it's because I don't have enough muscle. And I started to get pinched nerves that you would start to feel through your arm into your fingertips and stuff like that.
100%.
And it's because I don't have enough muscle here to build that up. So that's my next thing. I've got to figure out a way to fix that, but I'm being stubborn.
You gotta fix it.
Yeah, you gotta.
And I'm gonna cut this part out. I don't want anybody to know that. I'm just kidding.
You're susceptible to a knockout. If you got into an altercation with another dude, you're high risk at a knockout.
Yeah, that doesn't cross my mind. That
Well,
doesn't happen. I don't live in your world. That doesn't happen.
You can talk it out or you can fight it out. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to fight.
My biggest issue is I'm such an arrogant prick that I cause the fight all the time. I luckily have friends around me that matter.
You
We'll
know,
call Brian.
that's where I'm at in my life. You know what I mean? I had a lot of friends that didn't really mean shit, and they drug me down.
Yeah.
So you're only as good as your surroundings, and that's why I changed my circle.
I agree with that. I'm hardcore about that kind of
changed
part.
my
Like
circle.
back to my circle we talked about in the beginning. You're either in or you're not, and there's no in between. Like, I'm very hardcore. I'll do anything for you if you're in that circle. Good, but it's not easy to get there.
Not for masturbation, I'm sorry.
I was holding back for a second on that one and letting that slide, but now you're never going to forget that story. That's why I bring those things up.
I don't forget much. If it's like, I'll forget today, but I'll remember it like a week later.
Sure.
Anything that you ask me 5 minutes from now, I'm sure we're all guilty of this. I don't remember what you just said. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't remember half the stuff we talked about last year until I went through and edited it.
But I'll guarantee you can remember how to do everything on this floor for the rest of your life.
All day.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sure.
100%. You'll never forget this moment. Ever.
And you shouldn't.
Never. No.
I won't either. I mean, for what I'm doing for the show, too, it's the same thing for me. Like, my biggest issue last year was I thought the judges need to be a little, and I'm going to work on this for next year, too. Why are the judges here if we don't know who they are?
I made a suggestion.
In every reality show, the judges are the shit. They're the fucking shit, and we all know it.
You guys are the fucking icons. I don't remember if you remember last year, and I don't. It hasn't really been.
Are we allowed to talk to the judges?
You two are. Your teammates are not.
I was told different, but I don't remember.
Yes, you were allowed to.
Last year at the final.
We talked all the time last year.
Sounds like don't talk to anyone. They're baiting us.
At the final, when they were judging my project, I broke down.
I saw that.
I had tears
we
running
talked
down
about
my face.
that. Yeah.
And it wasn't because of the stress level. It was the amount of the respect I had for you guys judging my shit.
You're trying to make me cry now.
I had legends.
I think today's challenge was a judge. That was difficult for the judges.
You know,
yes, it was.
Like Bob Harris couldn't be with us during this event, but you know, to pass my test, I had to pass a test on Bob Harris's book. You know what I mean? I got my book and it never got signed, but we'll worry about that later, Bob Harris. But another time you're gonna sign my book. But I had to take a test that Bob Harris wrote, and then this guy's judging my shit. You know what I mean? And I got icons across the board that I look up to in the industry. And I couldn't stop it. I lost a best friend earlier in that year to shed a tear. And here you guys judge, like my car behind, like I got tears running down my face. I'm like, this is emotional.
It is.
Emotional. And I would love to see the legends take on the newbies. Or, you know what I mean? I would love to see.
We're too fucking fat and old for that shit.
Oh, we'll adjust it.
I mean, I'll still grade faster than all of you, but that's okay.
Yeah, I see me. You said something and I acknowledged it. You weren't even talking to me. I'm like,
I saw that. That was hilarious.
And I was like, yep, I just had the conversation with him.
All right, so what was I going to say? I agree with you on the emotional roller coaster, and one of the things I was really happy about today was when Isaiah was like, I didn't realize it's this hard to judge. You know, we sat out there in the ring and we did our thing, and you guys watched, and it just looked like we had no big deal. It was just we did our, no. It's incredibly hard to judge because we are so worried about not upsetting you guys or anything like that. It is what it is. Someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. But how accurate can we be to we can feel like we can walk away and be satisfied? And it's a very big honor.
Never.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to handle. And on one hand, I will say it's weird to not be a judge this year for me because I take such regard to that and I take it so serious like I did last year. But I really enjoy what I'm doing at the same time because now I get to interact all the time. And I get to like make sure that people know the story or know what's going on or, you know, the play-by-play that we didn't have last year. Someone has to do that too. And I was more worried about someone coming in and doing that barely knew what they were talking about than for me to be a judge. And no shame to the fact that, of course, I want as much screen time as I can get too, because I'm a little disappointed on the fact that the judges not only don't get much screen time, but who are they? We know that.
Right.
We know that.
But how is the rest of the world? This isn't an industry thing. This is a world thing. We're trying to get on Netflix or whatever. It's going to be Amazon. I don't care what it's on. Once it goes there, everybody can see it. So who are they? You know what I mean?
Epoxy has really taken off the last 5 years, along with and decorative concrete's at its coattails, and you know, and it's growing every year. I think it's what we've got going here is fantastic.
I agree.
To introduce if we get on a network, if we get everybody I've ever showed this to, they are like, this is good. And they know nothing about
I'm getting
concrete.
text all day from the people watching them. All day. From people asking questions. What's going on with this? Are you going to give a shout out to this or whatever? Yeah, absolutely. You have no idea how many people Or, you know, like one of my clients is like calling me or texting me and I'm like, I can't talk right now, I'm on a show. Oh, really, what? So I send them the link and then the next thing I know, I start getting them asking questions. What the hell's going on? You know, why didn't they say this? Why didn't you do that? You know, all sorts of stuff going on. Yes, there's a bigger picture. When I'm watching the live, it doesn't look like that many people are watching, but the amount of attention I'm getting from it alone, yes, they're watching. And I know that everybody's watching later, and it's only a matter of what happens when they break it all down and they put it into the show itself. Because right now we're just watching live nonsense. I mean, it's a long day of just a lot of shit.
Yeah.
When it gets cut down into a real show, it's going to change everything, especially this year.
It's definitely a lot of content. But people will still. I got a bar right now that are watching, or was watching, all my locals. To me, that's humbling. And I'm not saying like my whole hometown is in a bar watching us compete rather than watching some sports. You know what I mean?
When I had the same thing last year.
This is a sport. I don't care.
I had the same thing last year too, where I had friends of mine screenshot moments that they're watching to tell me what they're watching. Like I'm like, they're seeing me on stage and they screenshot and send it to me. I'm like, that's really fucking cool.
It's cool. It's a cool feeling. Then, like last year, I came back home. Now they did it last year because I live in a small town, just like everybody. But I walked into a standing ovation. And I was like, you know, like what the fuck?
That would be more emotional than dealing with us.
It kind of was in a different way, but it's cool as shit. You know what I mean? Your town is supporting you. You know what I mean?
You could tell how you mentioned that earlier, and I could tell how proud and happy that made you feel.
Proud. We did this so we can actually.
No, but that's a good achievement.
We get tired. The reason we start Floor Wars is we're trying to get belittled by, cheaper prices. This is what makes you stand out.
Not only cheaper prices, but the other flooring industries, because one of the biggest issues, and I argue this all the time, is that we're not technically a flooring industry.
Right.
Because we don't have the right standards at all. Tile, carpet, wood, all of them have standards.
Right.
You can't make a standard for decorative concrete because there's no limit to what you can use for this material.
Right.
So because of that, we're not technically a flooring industry. We're just a concrete industry, and that's frustrating as hell. Because what we do is way better than 90% of those other industries, but no one knows it because they don't look at it that way.
What I perceive it as that we are concrete artisans, correct? So we all have a background. I'm sure you guys have trialed thousands and thousands of yards of concrete.
Never poured an ounce of concrete in my life.
Me neither.
Are you serious? Oh wow.
Me neither.
I'm the only dumbass.
I went to art school, not concrete school, man.
I told you, we spoke about it. My art teacher told me if I could stick with construction.
I forgot that part, but I'm sure we did talk about that. I don't remember much after this either.
My son's homecoming game, she came up to me, she apologized. She's like, I'm so sorry. You linked them together.
You figured it out.
I went to school for computer science and math. I didn't go to school for art originally, and hated it, and started taking art class and got an A. I didn't plan this in any way, shape, or form at all. This was not planned.
It fell in your lap. And you took
I used to haul a chemical
100%.
tanker. I was a truck driver.
When I was working for Concrete Mystique before I bought it, I literally had that conversation with the boss and was like, do you have any fucking idea what you can do with this equipment? And he's like, you want to just buy the company? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
I'll take it.
Because you have no idea what's going to happen. And he loved watching what I did with the company. And because it was his first baby right out of college. And he really did love watching where I took it. I came back and I did his office and stuff like that. He's a mega million. And he's a fantastic guy. Great businessman. And we were just in the way. It was his first company out of college, and he built bigger companies after that, and we became the annoying mosquito that was biting him all the time asking for help. And he finally was like, I want this out of my head. I literally needed the money for the down payment on his $3 million house.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Because his new business was only less than, it was 9 months old. And the bank was like, we need 2 years. And he's like, well, I don't have 2 years. What do you need? And they're like, well, then we need this much money. And he was like, okay. So he put that together, still bought the damn house, still lives in there today, probably paid it off quickly, and there's all sorts of stories to that. So I was part of him just going, I just need more money to pay off, just to buy this house. I don't care anymore. I'd rather you just be out of my way. And I'm like, okay.
He made it.
Yeah.
He made it 100% in a positive way, and like everything positive. Like he wasn't ruthless. He wasn't evil. Actually his old business partner was. His old business partner thought that he was cheating on them and took him to court and lost because he wasn't. He was doing the right thing.
Oh, man.
And so he took that money and started a new company. And that company just went boom so fast that we were in the way.
What he was tired.
Yeah.
He's tired.
Yeah.
So, all right, we good?
We're good.
That was pretty good.
I think that was a good.
I got
good first podcast.
They may not care about anything, but I had a lot of fun.
I had a great time.
I had a great time. I would love to continue the conversation, but I gotta pee.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, for the record, we've talked for over an hour. In case you didn't realize that.
Okay.
That's a
That's a good one.
great podcast.
We did like 15 minutes last year. And we just did an hour.
I say 3.
Hour and 10.
Two's company, three's a crowd. Not in this case.
No, I think I had a great time. This was a good hour.
Yeah,
well spent.
You got wide
spectrum
of. It's great.
I appreciate you guys. I'm having a great time commentary. I'm having a great time talking shit about you guys the whole entire time. Everybody's loving what I'm doing. I can't wait to do more of it. I'm having a great time.
We take it as constructive criticism, really.
It was really funny yesterday when I finally got to be on the speakers again, because that was one thing that bothered me. Like, I don't want you guys to hear what I'm saying because I'm talking shit the whole time.
Right.
I'm literally giving play-by-play of the mistakes you guys are making on some of the things. It's hilarious.
Oh, I know.
So I'm doing that, and Dawson just like middle finger right away while I'm talking last night at the end of the day, and I was like, oh, and someone clearly can hear exactly what I'm saying right now, and he's not happy.
He's like, Andrew's clearly never carved before.
No. But if he says something, if he turns around and says something, he is now penalized.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know if he can say something. I don't think
We're not.
I'm thinking rule.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to get on the podcast and
absolutely, guys, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Hash it out with you.
We'll do this again.
I appreciate it.
When it's just one-on-one or when we're not, hectic. And
anytime you need some words, let us know.
Peel him away for a one-on-one. You know what I mean?
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
After tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank Epoxy Depot for sponsoring this show. Go to epoxydepotusa.com and check out all their great products, training classes, and all the things they have to offer. Follow me on all social media platforms. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for listening and have a great day.